Hear me okay? Okay, there we go. Now I can see myself. Um, okay, great. So, sleep, sex, and sanity. When we think about menopause, we think about hot flashes and sweats. These are kind of the two classic symptoms that always, come about when we think about perimenopause and menopause. But we know that there is so much more. So I want to talk very briefly about these three subtitles and subjects under perimenopause and menopause that really wreak havoc in many women's lives. So let's break those down. And I would love to hear from you guys if you have any questions about it. And I want to also offer some real life, examples and also some tips and tricks for helping solve these issues. Okay, so first we're going to talk about sleep. So many women in perimenopause and menopause are not able to sleep well. So one of the common complaints I get, even from women in their mid 40s, is that, oh, I go to bed and then I wake up at 2, then I wake up at 4, and then I wake up at 6, or I wake up at 3:30 and then I'm not able to go back to bed. So this is one of the common things I hear. Not so much about falling asleep, but staying asleep. Um, so sleep is very disturbed, and as we know, sleep is a superpower. It restores our mind, it strengthens neural connections in our brain, and it really helps build resilience. So we really need to sleep. Nobody wants to, forego this. So what do we do about that? Could this have something to do with perimenopause? Certainly it can, because during this time we have a roller coaster of hormones like estrogen and progesterone particularly can really help with sleep. So we can talk a little bit about that. Now, there are also other things that we can be doing to improve our sleep. So a lot of sleep gurus out there, like my friend Dr. Funke Brown, you should check her out, restfulsleepmd.com, will give you very practical tips on how to optimize sleep. So for many of us, when we look at our sleep hygiene, it's not all that great. We're scrolling on social media or the news right before we go to bed, or we're working in our bedroom, on our bed, with the laptop, or we're, just staying up way too late for, me time. A patient told me yesterday, well, that's the only time I get for me time. So I'm online shopping and I'm watching a movie and all these things intimate into the night, because I don't have any other time with younger kids. And so that's a valid point, but I think there are ways that we can make that even better. Regarding your sleep patterns. So there's a lot that we can first clean up in our lives regarding our sleep habits, temperature wise, light wise, electronics wise. There's a lot of things we can do, but even if we have all of that optimized, for some women, they are still not able to stay asleep, again, because of hormonal changes. So certainly, hormone therapy can help with this. One of the things that really is of benefit is progesterone, bioidentical progesterone that you can take at night to really help with sleep. So this is something you'll want to talk to your doctor about. And guys, please remember that I am a gynecologist, but I'm not your gynecologist. So please make sure you speak to your physician about this, okay? So sleep can definitely be disrupted in perimenopause, and it is something that we want to pay attention to and we want to address. Okay, number 2, sex. Many women say that they have no interest or that it's painful because they have a lot of dryness, and so even if they were interested, it's just too painful that they don't want to do it. And so this is one of those less talked about symptoms in menopause, but I talk about it in my office all the time because I ask about it. And so what I have found is that, even in the starting late 40s, mid to late 40s, and then going on into the 50s, this can be a problem for many. And like sleep, there are so many lifestyle and environmental and, just life things that can happen that can make this sometimes a problem, right? Very, very busy schedules, schedules that don't line up with your spouse, stress. Kids are often going away to college at this time, or parents are aging. And so many, women find themselves in this sandwich generation where they are trying to balance, various responsibilities. So this is the last thing on their mind, right? So there are a lot of other things that are happening that can contribute to this. And also, things like, thyroid disorders, or maybe you've gained a lot of weight and you just don't feel like, yourself, your self-esteem has gone down. There are many, many, many factors that go along with, this whole idea of not wanting to be sexually active. And so we have to first break those things down. But then if you're like, that's not it, like I've got that in control, I just really, I'm having a problem. Well, there are definitely things that we can do. There are medications that we can give you, if you're premenopausal, and if you're postmenopausal, we can also treat you with testosterone for low libido. And then if you're like, well, libido's not a problem, it's just that I'm having pain, I'm having dryness, we definitely have vaginal estrogen for that as well, in addition to hormone therapy. So my point is, there are many things that we can do to help you with this problem. This is something that comes up in menopause all the time, and can affect your quality of life for many people. And if you're like, that's not really important to me, no problem. It doesn't have to be important to you. It's only a problem if it is important to you and you're not able to have a fulfilling life in this area. So if you are having trouble, like I said, there are many hormonal and other medical options for low libido and for painful sex, for vaginal dryness, etc. So please, don't be shy. Please seek out help here. Speak to your physician. The best is to really look for a menopause certified practitioner in your area. You can do that through the website at the Menopause Society. Many patients tell me that that's how they find me. Mary Claire Haver has a section in her book, The New Menopause, about finding a physician who is trained and certified in, menopause. And so we do have the latest tools available to help you. Okay. So we've covered sleep, we've covered sex, and now let's talk about sanity. So in around menopause, so many women tell me they're just losing it. Okay, they're mad at their family, they're mad at their spouse, they just feel rage and anger. They feel like they're up one day and then down in the dumps another day. They're going insane, like that. In no better words, like this is literally what patients tell me, that they feel like they're going insane. Now, why could this be? Again, certainly, lifestyle things, life stressors can definitely be happening, but you knew you were able to, control and manage these just a few years ago. And like, now what happened? Again, estrogen and progesterone are just up and down in your body. Like literally, if you looked at a graph, it looks like you're on a roller coaster with estrogen, progesterone, testosterone all over the place during this time of perimenopause. So often 43, 44 until about 50, 52. For some women, this window was much shorter. So it's like 50 to 52. But for others, this period of perimenopause can be going, on and on for even a decade. And so if you are feeling this way in your mid 40s, don't say, oh, well, I must just be overreacting or overthinking. This could really be physiologic. Okay. And so you do want to seek help, and you do want to take a look at this. Now, when we think about mental health in menopause and perimenopause, again, this is multifactorial. Hormones can definitely play a role. And often when we start women on hormone therapy, they're like, oh, I feel so much more even keeled. I feel like, that I'm not having all these ups and downs. My mood is much more stable. Many women, I will say at this stage, are also diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety. Okay. Now, this is something that I never seen in my training because I was not looking for it. But we know that ADHD and anxiety are prevalent in perimenopause and menopause. Even just yesterday, I saw a patient who was 44, just diagnosed with ADHD. And she was like, oh my goodness, like now that I look back into my life, I can see all these signs. Like I should have been diagnosed, way before, but somehow I was managing. And now things are sort of falling apart in menopause and it's just, blown out of proportion. And now I'm actually getting help and I'm doing a lot better. So anxiety and ADHD, I just want to throw that out there, are two things that really pop up during menopause. And this is something that should be looked at. And maybe you need a combination approach. Maybe you do need to see a psychiatrist and be on some medication and get some therapy. And maybe you need to be on hormone therapy with estrogen and progesterone to help alleviate those mood swings and mood roller coasters. So it can definitely be an approach with your psychiatrist and a gynecologist. And so these are the three things that I wanted to talk about that I feel like don't get a lot of press. Oftentimes we talk about hot flashes and sweats as being the main thing. That's what's in the media all the time. That's what women often feel comfortable and not so ashamed to express, like, oh, I'm feeling so hot. But there are also these silent struggles that are going on beneath the surface. And so I wanted to bring those to light and just to give you a glimpse into what happens during this time and give you hope that there are treatments. Okay, so if you're somebody who's suffering from any of the above three that I just talked about, and you're like, what do I do? Maybe you're already on hormones and you're like, okay, that helps a little bit, but not fully. We have other options. We have other medical options and non-medical options as well. Pelvic physical therapy is a great one that many women in menopause take advantage of. And I think it's a great idea because, again, there's so much happening that pelvic floor therapy can really help. So pelvic floor therapy, medications, hormones, this is a time of your life that you really want to pay attention to and know that there are options, know that there is help. And I want you to take advantage of it so that you can go on to live a full, healthy life and feel like you're living well and not, always on the edge and always nervous about when, the shoe is going to drop. Okay. So I would love to take some questions below. If anybody has them, please type them in the chat. Okay. How exactly do hormonal shifts during perimenopause affect sleep quality? So when we think about sleep and many of our functions as women, including our mental health, estrogen and progesterone play a role, and we see this as early as young teens who have their period. Right before they get their period, they get all moody, right, and they get just mental health changes and physical changes. Some people get acne, right? So there are changes that happen right before you get your period. And similarly, in perimenopause and menopause, there are changes that happen throughout those 30 days. And they can just be a little bit more pronounced. So the exact mechanism is unknown, but the bottom line, and I think the takeaway here is the balance between estrogen and progesterone and testosterone just change during this time and can change pretty rapidly. And so this affects sleep and everything else that we talked about. Okay, what else? What are the most common sexual health changes women report? Yes, how can they be addressed? So the most common ones, I would say, number one, probably just low libido, like just not feeling it. Like many women will say, oh, I had a really healthy, sex life in my early 40s, mid 40s, and now I just have zero interest. So that is probably the most common one. And the second one is just pain and discomfort, dryness during intercourse. So those are the two most common complaints, and we can definitely address those with some medications as well as vaginal estrogen. So these are options out there, so no need to suffer. Okay, what else? How can women start honest conversations with their partners about what they're experiencing? Yeah. So again, finding a physician who is certified, through the Menopause Society is a helpful start. There are so many platforms now and so many people out there offering menopause care, and you have to be careful. There are online platforms which are good because it's a start. It's giving people care that they otherwise there's just no hope of getting care, right? But you have to look who is actually behind the screen, what their credentials are. And then also, even if you go and talk to somebody, in real life, who is this person? Just anybody who wears a white coat is not a doctor. So you really want to see who this person is, what their credentials are, and what they're really talking about. Because all day, every day, I see people who are getting very interesting advice from medical professionals, and that's actually very detrimental and dangerous. So this is not a very PC thing to talk about, but I will talk about it because many women are being charged astronomical amounts of dollars for just non medical practices that are not very sound and not FDA approved. So I have a real problem with this because a lot of my patients come to me with having taken some of these treatments and having suffered side effects. So the point is, you really, really want to know who you're talking to. So the Menopause Society is great. They have a directory. That's who I would really go and see. And then you can also, take your partner with you, maybe for that first appointment. And sometimes it can feel a little weird talking to them directly. And it depends on your relationship, of course. But when it's sort of in front of a medical professional, it can be a little bit different. And so I would, consider just involving them that way, because the more they're involved, the better. All right. I get night sweats, but not hot flashes during the day. Is that a perimenopause thing? That can be, but there are also other reasons why people get night sweats. And so not all night sweats are because of menopause or perimenopause. Okay, so that is another really important thing. And you want to make sure that you speak to your physician about that. Certain types of blood disorders can cause night sweats. Sleep apnea can cause night sweats. If you have really bad reflux, that can cause night sweats. If you're on certain antidepressants, that can cause night sweats. And so there are many reasons why you could be getting night sweats. So don't think, oh, well, night sweats, it's perimenopause. I should just be on an estrogen patch and life is good. Please dig into that a little bit more. Talk to your doctor, rule a few things out before saying it's perimenopause. But it can be. I just turned 30. My sex drive disappeared overnight. Is this normal in perimenopause or something I should get checked? So 30 is a little early to be in perimenopause. So really, this is, I can't really comment on this question because it depends on what else is going on. What else is going on with your periods? Is this truly just abrupt early menopause? I mean, it could be, but many other things have to be true for that to be the case. So I would definitely go and see your doctor because that's not normal. Sometimes it can be a medication. So that's often what I see with changes in libido. So make sure you look at your med list, think about if you've added something recently and what side effect that could be having. Okay. What lifestyle changes or treatments actually help women reclaim better sleep, sex, and mood during menopause? So lots of treatments, it's beyond the scope of this chat, but hormone therapy, systemic hormone therapy, vaginal hormone therapy, medications for libido, for sure. There are many supplements out there for better sleep, including magnesium is something that I recommend. Acupuncture, exercise, eating well, and get this, cutting out alcohol. Again, not a very popular thing for me to say, but alcohol definitely leads to poor sleep in perimenopause and menopause. Patients will say to me like, oh, I used to be able to drink a glass of wine with dinner. Now when I do that, 3 hours later, I'm up. And then the days that I don't drink, I notice that I sleep really well. So lifestyle changes play a very big role, bigger than you think. And so you have a lot of control. You have a lot of options in your toolbox, a lot of tools in your toolkit to help you feel better. So please take advantage of those. So I recommend a plant-forward diet, exercise, including weight bearing and cardio, getting good amounts of sleep, cutting out alcohol, ideally entirely, and then just maintaining strict boundaries around sleep, and then pharmaceutical medications, including hormone therapy. Okay, what else? We have a couple more minutes. Sex has become really uncomfortable lately. Is vaginal dryness just part of this phase? Is something wrong? Yeah, I think this is something that you really need to go in and get evaluated, because there could be other conditions going on that is just not dryness. There could be other autoimmune skin conditions, mucosal conditions like lichen sclerosis, for example, that could be happening that needs to be treated, separately. So I would really get a good exam by your gynecologist and see if anything else is going on. And if it's only vaginal dryness, certainly vaginal estrogen can help with that. Okay. Can mental health symptoms like irritability, anxiety, emotional sensitivity? Absolutely. It can be related. Again, you really want to look at what else is going on in your life. You want to be able to see a therapist or a psychiatrist and make sure you truly don't have, an anxiety disorder or a depressive disorder also that's going on at the same time, or is this truly just hormonal? So you want to rule other things out as well, because often in your late 30s and 40s are when other mental health disorders also get diagnosed. And so we see this often. So you don't want to just say it's menopause. Okay. Melatonin or natural supplements help with perimenopause insomnia. Yeah, I think magnesium helps. I'm not a big fan of melatonin. I mean, I'm not a sleep doctor, but I have heard that the amounts of melatonin in the supplements are just way more than what our natural body gives us, and so it can actually be detrimental long term if we take this much melatonin. But I would consult with a sleep doctor about that. But magnesium, I think, is a nice, easy supplement to take for sleep. Anything else? All right. Great. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this Thursday. I'm Dr. Prabhakar. I'm a board certified OBGYN, and I have a advanced certification in menopause medicine through the North American Menopause Society. So I'm happy to see anybody for a consult if you are anywhere in California. I'm a licensed physician in the Bay Area, in San Francisco. So if you're anywhere here, or LA or San Diego, or really anywhere in California, I can see you. And then if you are somewhere else in the country or the world, I can definitely do a coaching call with you. I can't exactly give you medications or prescribe things, but I can definitely talk to you about it. And so please reach out. Please, pay attention to these things that could be happening in your body and your life during this time of transition. And it's nothing to be fearful of, but it's something that you can absolutely take charge of, and know that you have many lifestyle tools that can help you. But then if you need to step into, medications, we have lots of that to help you as well. So great to see everybody today. Take care and have a wonderful rest of the week and weekend. Bye, everyone.